Let me ask you something real quick. How many times have you sent what felt like a perfect sales email and then just heard absolutely nothing back? No reply, not even interested. Not even a polite brush off. Just silence. If you've ever felt that, you're not bad at sales. You're just experiencing what most people do. The reality is the first email almost never closes the deal. In fact, most deals that actually turn into conversations happen after multiple follow-ups. The problem is following up consistently can be hard. It's awkward. It's easy to forget. And a lot of people either stop too early or follow up in a way that feels pushy or robotic. And that's where Yesware comes in. In this video, I want to walk you through how to use Yesware to write follow-up emails that actually get replies. Not by spamming people, but by being thoughtful, consistent, and data-driven. This isn't about sending more emails. It's about sending better ones at the right time with the right message. Why follow-ups matter more than your first email. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Your first email is usually just an introduction. It's rarely the moment that someone decides to reply. People are busy. Inboxes are chaotic. Your email might get opened on a phone while they're walking into a meeting and then forgotten 5 minutes later. It doesn't mean they aren't interested. It usually just means timing wasn't right. Follow-ups give people another chance to engage when their headspace is different. And when done right, they don't feel annoying. They feel helpful. The problem is that most follow-ups are either too generic, too long, too aggressive, or sent at random times. Yesware solves this by giving you structure without killing personalization. How Yesware fits into real sales workflow. At its core, Yesware is designed to live inside your email, not replace it. You're not logging into some separate dashboard all day. You're working in Gmail or Outlook like normal, but with extra context layered on top. That context is what changes everything. You can see when someone opens your email, how many times they open it, whether they click links or view attachments, which messages actually get replies. Instead of guessing when to follow up, you're reacting to real behavior. That alone makes your follow-ups feel more human because they're based on what the other person is actually doing. Using templates without sounding like a template. Let's talk about one of Yesware's most useful features, email templates. A lot of people hear templates and immediately think, okay, so I'm just going to sound like everyone else. That only happens if you use templates the wrong way. The right way to use Yesware templates is to treat them like starting points, not scripts you blindly send. Inside Yesware, you can save your best performing follow-up emails and organize them by situation. First follow-up after no response, follow-up after a meeting, follow-up after a voicemail, follow-up after someone opened but didn't reply. Instead of retyping the same structure every time, you just drop in the template and personalize the top line or two. That's where the human part lives. You're saving time on structure, not sacrificing tone. This is one of those moments where Yesware quietly removes friction without forcing you into robotic messaging. Why email tracking changes how you follow up. This is where things get really interesting. Yesware's email tracking tells you what happens after you hit send, and that information completely changes how you should follow up. So let's say you send an email and you see that the prospect opened it 3 times. They clicked the link, they looked at your attachment, and that's a very different situation than someone who never opened it at all, much less opened the attachment. With Yesware, you're no longer guessing. Should I follow up now? Am I bothering them? Should I look for another job, not in sales? You're responding to signals. If someone opens an email multiple times, that's often a sign they're interested but busy. That's the perfect time for a short, direct follow-up. If they never opened it, you might change the subject line, try a different angle, or wait a bit longer. This is how follow-ups stop feeling awkward, because they're informed. Campaigns. Consistency without the mental load. One of the biggest reasons people don't follow up consistently is simple. They forget. Yesware's campaigns, sometimes called sequences, fix that. You set up a follow-up cadence once. Initial email, follow-up 2 to 3 days after, another follow-up a few days later, and Yesware handles the timing for you. The key thing here is that campaigns stop automatically when someone replies. So you're never accidentally following up with someone who already answered. This is huge. It lets you be persistent without being annoying, and it frees up mental space so you can focus on what you're saying, not when to send it. Writing follow-ups that actually get replies. Now let's talk about the writing itself. The best follow-ups are short, clear, easy to reply to. Long emails don't get read. Complicated asks don't get answered. A good follow-up usually does 3 things. Reminds them who you are, adds a small bit of value or context, makes the next step obvious. Yesware makes it easy to test and refine this over time because you can see which messages actually get replies. Why being brief wins every time. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people trying to explain everything in a follow-up. That's not the goal. The goal is to start a conversation. Most effective follow-ups are 3 to 5 sentences max. Enough to jog their memory, not enough to overwhelm them. When you use Yesware templates, you can keep that structure tight and repeatable while still personalizing the details. Adding value without trying too hard. A follow-up shouldn't just say, just checking in. That gives the recipient nothing to react to. Instead, think a short insight, relevant article, a quick example, a common mistake you see in their space. Even one line of value makes your message feel intentional. And because Yesware tracks engagement, you can actually see which value-driven messages perform better and double down on those. Timing your follow-ups like a human. Timing matters more than people realize. As a general rule, first follow-up 2 to 3 days after the initial email. The second follow-up 3 to 5 days later. After a meeting, within 24 hours. And again, Yesware makes this easy by handling the schedule for you. But the real advantage is using engagement data to adjust. If someone opens your email multiple times, you might follow up sooner. No activity at all, you might wait or try a new angle. So you stay persistent without being pushy. Multi-channel follow-ups without being weird. Email doesn't have to be your only touch point. Yesware integrates with calling and CRM activity, which means you can mix in a quick phone call, a voicemail, a LinkedIn message. Key is context. If someone opened your email but didn't reply, a short call referencing that email feels natural. Hey, just wanted to put a voice to the message I sent over. That's persistence done right. Turning data into better follow-ups over time. One of Yesware's most underrated features is analytics. Over time, you can see which templates get replies, which subject lines get opened, which days and times perform best. This lets you stop guessing and start refining. Instead of asking, why didn't this work? You can ask, what did work? And how do I do more of that? That feedback loop is how good follow-up systems get better every month. Handling the final follow-up gracefully. The last follow-up is where most people get uncomfortable. But when done right, it's actually one of the highest reply messages. A polite, closing the loop email that gives people an easy out often gets responses, even if it's a no. And honestly, a clear no is better than silence and lets you move on without burning bridges. Yesware helps here because you can see when it makes sense to send that final message based on engagement, not emotion. So following up isn't about nagging. It's about staying visible, adding value, and giving people a chance to respond when the timing is right. Yesware works because it keeps you organized, shows you real engagement data, helps you follow up consistently, lets you improve based on results. So if you want follow-ups that actually get replies without sounding desperate or robotic, this is one of the cleanest tools to do that. So if you want to check out Yesware for yourself, there's a link down in the description. That's our affiliate link. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help support the channel so we can keep creating deep, real-world walkthroughs like this. So if the video helped, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know how you currently handle follow-ups or where you get stuck. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here in the next video.